One of the challenges in the modern world is the prevailing view that life is binary. Yes, no, black, white, up, down, Bitcoin, gold. Life's not like that. Hi, I'm George Sanders. I'm the president of Goldcliff Resource Corporation, a publicly traded mineral exploration startup. Today I'd like to have a brief conversation about the false dichotomy of gold versus Bitcoin, Bitcoin versus gold. And it seems to be that this argument, this discussion is everywhere online, and every time I see it or read about it or listen to it, I just shake my head, because it's not a dichotomy. These are two different but related asset classes, and I think in the next few minutes I'd like to lay out some of the reasons why gold people should be considering Bitcoin and Bitcoin people considering gold, because they are complementary assets. And I'd like to start with a few thoughts about the dedicated holders of these two asset classes. So for this discussion, we're excluding traders and speculators. We're talking about people who, for whatever their investment thesis is, they are invested in the asset class for the long term in accordance with that thesis. And it occurs to many of us in the gold space that we have people with a similar thesis in the Bitcoin space, even though these are slightly different asset classes. So let's take a look at that. Where are a number of the similarities? To begin with, investors in both asset classes are in those assets because they are skeptical of the long-term sustainability of a financial system that is debt-based and a monetary system based on fiat currency. So they're skeptical of the long-term viability of that, particularly as it relates to individual purchasing power. Both communities share a maybe more than average libertarian view. They believe in the rights of the individual. They believe in the ability to protect assets from state intervention or erosion of the value of those assets through taxation. And so both Bitcoin and gold attract that audience, attract people with that thesis, with that mentality, and both of those instruments provide some level of protection. Again, a similarity is both audiences, both investment groups, communities are interested in having something without counterparty risk and a little bit outside of the debt-based fiat currency monetary system. So we do have those similarities. Most of the members in both of those communities are not invested over the long term strictly for the utility of the asset. In other words, they're not concerned that the local grocery store, the local gas station, the local utility provider do not take either gold coins or Bitcoin as payment. They're not concerned about that. What they are concerned about is the preservation of purchasing power. Now, these two asset classes have a similarity in the mindset of the audience. They provide solutions to some of the challenges identified. They both have positive and negative characteristics that the other does not, but I really believe that the argument of either or makes no logical sense at all. Investors, gold investors who see it as insurance, worst case scenario insurance, and preservation of purchasing power, that view is shared by most people in the Bitcoin community as well. And so these are not opposing or either one or the other. I think a number of us, particularly of my generation, have seen in Bitcoin a number of the characteristics that have attracted us to gold. Gold has about a 10,000 year monetary history with humanity, so it's not going away anytime soon. It isn't going to be replaced, but as an alternative or as a supplementary investment, Bitcoin makes a lot of sense, and I would like to pass on to the next generation that just because your parents and your grandparents are of a certain vintage, it doesn't mean that they're not open to new ideas and they don't recognize the value and the power of Bitcoin. So I just want to be a voice to that generation and to those investors who are maybe uncertain about gold and certainly not aware of the gold mining business, and certainly have been unaware of the exploration component of the mining business, which is where my experience is and where we play in the publicly traded exploration startup space. So just want to communicate that the older generation aren't necessarily anti-Bitcoin. In fact, many of us are participants in it, and we do recognize that it has a number of the characteristics that attracted us to the gold space. Hopefully, we will never have to use either our Bitcoins or our 1/10 Maple Leafs as the insurance for which we purchased it in the first place. But we do know, or we are one generation removed or one continent removed from people who actually had to use heirloom necklaces, bracelets, earrings, goblets, and coins to buy themselves a loaf of bread or a drink of water, or to bribe the guards so they didn't have to get on the train to Auschwitz. That's real. That happened. That happened in my parents' generation. So it's not out of the realm of the possibility. As I say, hopefully we never have to go down that road, but both of those financial instruments are purchased for similar reasons. They are complementary, not competitive asset classes. If you've enjoyed these videos introducing to you the publicly traded exploration startup space, please share these videos and please subscribe to our YouTube channel for further content. Thank you.